Hello, my name is Vincent Robertini, and I work on Tower Research's telco team under Tom Proudly and Rohit Karnani. The purpose of this on-screen video is to provide a quick tutorial on the FTB2 Pro EXO unit and how to set up and run the Iolm test. If you are already familiar with the EXO, then hopefully this video serves as a refresher. There are many things the EXO unit can do. However, for this video, we are going to focus on Iolm testing, and that stands for Intelligent Optical Link Mapper. This test will provide you with the distance or the length of an on-site cross-connect. I say it that way, I specify on-site, because there are other tests, like, for example, the RFC 2544. That is a test that goes between two sites. The Iolm test, however, tests only the cross-connect from our cage all the way through the colo system to the vendor or the client's cage. With this on-screen video, I will jump between a few screens in order to reference some pictures, the document that the unit creates, as well as the unit and test itself. For the Iolm test, you're only going to need one machine on site with you. You should travel to the data center with the EXO unit, its power cords, along with the proper receptacle converter that you have inside the data center. So you don't want to get there and realize you have one type of receptacle and you can't plug in because inside your data center you have a different type of receptacle. So you want to make sure you have the proper power receptacle converter. And also the machine comes with two launch cords, and I'll explain them shortly, or actually right now. I'm going to jump into some of the pictures. So this is a picture of the launch cord, but so this first picture is the unit that you'll be receiving. There's a power cord, a little stylus pen for navigation, and these two canvas pouches are the launch cords that I'm referencing. So each launch cord has a green APC type tip, and this one is an LC UPC type of tip. So the blue one goes to your patch panel inside the data center, the green tip goes to your machine. That stands true for the SC to SC as well. Green to the machine, blue to the patch panel. There's no mistaking because the machine is outlined in green, indicating APC. APC type of head is the fiber, the tip is slanted slightly. I don't know if it's visible to the eye. It's slightly slanted as opposed to flat. So that's the unit. The side, I should say the Iolm card. There is one capped off, one port capped off. This port is if you have a true dark fiber, the other side is not plugged in, not in production yet, if you want to use it that way. This port over here says SM Live for single mode live, and that tests at a different frequency than the other ports, so you can test while the other side's plugged right into their NIC card, not interfering with 1310 or 1550. This shoots at 1625, so it won't interfere with the NIC card. All right. Okay. So next, when you get to the data center, just more words of advice. It's probably good to try to find a flat tabletop cart to set the unit up on. Just makes it easier. If that's not the case, set the unit up on the floor, boot it up. And what I've done with all the launch cords sent to each site, this is a 15-meter launch cord. I pulled out several feet, so you can easily reach up to 15 feet patch panel from the floor. And then the rest of it I tucked away, velcroed it away. So you might want to set that unit up on a tabletop, like I said, or securely on the floor. It boots up into Windows. As you see, this is the machine I'm in. I wanted you to see the Windows screen that it boots into. And you're going to open up the toolbox icon. And now these are the two cards that are in the machine. We're focusing on this card. So that one card I showed you had two ports, which was the Iolm live, and the other one was the OTDR port. We're going to go into Iolm. And did that open? Yes. Okay, it opened. Now you see here, there is a screen here like that looks just like this. This is the test screen. However, we have to do one thing first. We have to calibrate that launch cord. So next step, okay, you have your machine open, software is open, Windows is open. You want to use the proper launch cord. Find the launch cord that you're going to be specifically using on that patch panel. So if the patch panel is LC, you're going to want to find the LC launch cord, clean both tips. And particularly for now, we're going to have to definitely clean the green tip and plug that in to, like we just said, the green port. So clean it and clean the green tip, plug that in there. You could also clean the, let's say we're using LC. I have a little lab set to the side. I'm using LC today. I would clean that as well and maybe put the black protector back on. So now you're plugged into the machine, the live port. You're in the software. What do we do? Okay, up here you see source. Don't have to do anything in that tab. Iolm is your tab you're going to set up. This is the link view. When the test starts, it'll flip to this on its own. This can show you some elements and populate refractance and loss. And this will give you info. All these tabs will populate once the test runs, but this is really your main tab here for now. So if you see to the left, you have SM Live. That's where we want to be, because we're shooting at the 1625 or testing at 1625. If we choose this one, this is the OTDR port. You see 1310 and 1550 there. We don't want to shoot that because now you're going to interfere. Something's already on 1310, right? So we're going to use 1625. And we're going to use the live port. This will only work with the live port. See here we have launch cord X'd. I already have a reading here because from a previous test this was calibrated, but right now we're ready to calibrate the launch cord. Hit calibrate, this pops up, just making sure. Please connect, which we did already. Click OK. I clean my tip so hopefully I don't fail my calibration. I'm going to stop the video cold, but yeah. Okay, successfully calibrated. We're at 15.1. So next, what do we do? Okay, so you will probably be given a port assignment or several ports that Rohit or network want you to check. So you would obviously have your ticket. You look at your ticket, you find your port, whether it's on an Arista or a Metamako or some switch, and you trace that out to the patch panel. Sometimes it's difficult, there's a lot of cables buried. There is the other way. You can unplug from the switch and couple it if you really cannot get to the patch panels. But ideally, it's probably the best to trace out the port that network has given you up to the patch panel and unplug from the patch panel. Then you take, once again, your other LC tip, and it was cleaned, and you plug into the patch panel. So for my lab, I'm going to just show you plugged in, cleaned, calibrated. I'm coupling because I'm just in a small lab environment. We calibrated at the 15.1. I'm going to take that launch cable that's 15.1 I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to plug it into, let me see if I can reach. Sorry, I couldn't reach. I had to take the headphones off. So I plugged into one strand like this. As you notice, the launch cords only have one cable. So you're going to want to test both of these, both strands, one at a time, obviously. So now I'm plugged in. You should be plugged in at the data center. Oops, we're not calibrating. I apologize. Cancel that. We already calibrated, and then you hit start. It's that easy. So now what is this doing? It's testing, starting at the machine. This first square is the machine. This 15-1 is the launch cord. This is my first coupler that I just walked over and plugged in. This is, I have roughly a 200 meter spool. You see the test is just finishing now. I cleaned everything, so we've passed. And I roughly have a 200 meter spool, so this is almost very close, 198. You know, if you are equalizing and you needed 200 feet, you can go back to the vendor and say, hey, you're short 2 feet here, roughly. So this is what I've done. I've shot from the launch cord, the machine, through the first coupler, 198 feet. We've passed, and you have some stuff populated here. And this is a successful test. So, next what you would want to do is save this file. So you would go File, Save As. This is important. You want to save it as an Iolm file. And an Iolm file will do two things. It'll create an Iolm file which can be converted into an OTDR file, which is more of a scaled peaks and valley type of look. And then it also creates a PDF file which will give you this mapper link. That's why it's intelligent mapper. This creates a map. So I'm going to just highlight here because I kind of already saved it. This is the proper naming convention for saving. And we could go over this through email or Slack, but it would be TID, the TID number, underscore, I just used 1, 2, 3, 4 because this is a test, the XID, underscore, what did we do, IOLM, underscore strand 1, underscore test 1. As we move on to strand 2, it would be the same thing. You would have strand 2 there and test 1. Ideally, we like to test a few times just to make sure we get the same results, but that is how you save the file. Last thing I'm going to show for this video is two other files that were already ran here in US Data Center Equinix. So this is a nice file pass. We've passed inside the data center, which is great, and I'll explain why it's great in a second. Everything's green. You got 40.4 meters. You got your levels. And it's nice and green pass, right? Now I want to show you a fail. And a fail does not mean that the cross connect is bad or we have to make a ticket with Equinix. We could. However, let me enlarge this one a little. It's failing all the way down here because this is not ours. This is deeper into the colo, closer to the vendor side. So technically it's loss, it's dB loss through the couplers or through the patch panel, and we could potentially create a ticket and ask people to clean their end. And this one measures 314.6 meters. So this is a failure only because the machine sees it's a little bit dirty over here possibly. But you still have your distance, and it'll probably run data fine. So the other word of advice, we always clean your side, or well, I just should reiterate the word of advice, clean our side as much as we can. If you see a square that's maybe 3-4 feet away, that maybe it does jump to a cabinet that's next to us, and we could clean that as well if we own it. If we don't own it, we can't clean it. So that's the nature of how that goes. The closer we can get to it and clean it, good, much better. And that's the Iolm test. You can always hit me on Slack or email for further advice. We could team view, so I could jump into the machine and help you, Rohit, as well. And when I post these, I'll post my cell and all that other stuff. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this is helpful.